Hello and welcome to Ghost Garden. Today I'm going to propagate some of my blueberry bushes. I'm going to be using a rooting hormone that I bought from a store, and the other is going to be homemade. I started gardening this year with my wife. She's been gardening for the past couple years, and I just started to find joy in it. I believe that blueberries are my favorite. These are my blueberry bushes. Two of them are what's called a pink lemonade, and the other two are what's called a rabbit eye. The pink lemonade blueberry bushes are actually a hybrid of the rabbit eye blueberry bushes. This particular blueberry bush is probably 2 to 3 years old. It was my first one I bought last year. This blueberry bush I purchased this year from Walmart, and it was pretty well this size. I got it home and I just kind of trimmed it up a little bit. It was very thirsty, to say the least. It wasn't doing very well. I should have probably clipped all of the flowers off and give it another season to grow, but I was too excited. I wanted to have blueberries this year. But you can see they're a bright pinkish color right now, and then they'll turn kind of bluish, purplish. I've already had some that were ready to eat, and they're really sweet, and they have just a slight tang to them. And these will be two of the cuttings that I will do today. You can see how healthy this bush is. I don't know too much about gardening. Like everybody else, when you don't know anything, you kind of dive off into a rabbit hole, YouTube rabbit hole. And I've been watching this channel called Growing Out the Box, and it's, to say the least, it's inspired me. And I've learned a lot from his channel, and I'm trying to apply it to my gardening. I also really enjoy gardening with my wife. I mean, we spend a lot of time together, and we share some hobbies, but gardening is something that we just dove off the deep end together, really. This is one of my rabbit eye blueberry bushes. I'm going to be taking a cutting from it today and propagating it. I don't really have a plan for them. I just want to try it and see what happens. Like I said before, I'm trying to learn, I'm experimenting, and I think this will be fun. So I would highly recommend using rainwater or distilled water when propagating. I'm sure it's okay to use tap water, but I just want to give my cuttings the best chance. So I've seen that it's best to clean your clippers with an alcohol pad before you make a cut. It just gives that cutting a lot better chance to root. And also, you should always be cleaning your tools. I mean, it's easy. Everybody knows garden tools will rust after even the first season, and I like these clippers, and I've tried to keep them in good shape so far. So I'm not going to clip that one. I'm going to clip this one back here. And I'm immediately going to set that into my rainwater. And I'm going to cut this boy off back here and toss him in my glass of rainwater. If you're immediately going to propagate them, you probably don't have to do this, but with all the cuttings I've ever done, I've immediately tossed them in some water. And this is my rabbit eye. I'm only going to do one cutting off of him today. I don't want to shock him too much. So, brought the cuttings inside, and we're going to start applying some rooting hormone. We're going to make one of them from scratch, and the other one is the store-bought one. It was like $5 or $6, and it's pretty cheap, but also making your own is pretty cheap. You're going to need an aloe vera plant. I'm not sure what type of aloe vera it is, but I'm going to cut some of its leaves off. And here's that rooting hormone I bought from Walmart. Just some plain old honey. Some ground cinnamon. Organic is probably better, but as long as the ingredients say cinnamon, we're gonna give it a try. I've pre-made 2 pots already, and I've got one that I'm gonna add some fertilizer to. It's Happy Frog acid-loving plants. Blueberries love acidic soil, and you've only got to use this stuff like once a month. It says to make a tea out of it, and what I usually do is just get a 1/4 cup and toss it in a gallon jug of rainwater and let it soak for 24 hours, 2 days, and then I'll spread it on my blueberry bushes about once a month. Has seemed to do the trick. So I've just did a light dusting in this pot, and I'm gonna just fill it up with soil. The soil it was cheap. It was like $10, and it's got a lot of mulch in it I try to pick out, but it does what I need it to. So I'm sure there's an accurate measurement somewhere, but I'm just gonna eyeball it. Just gonna basically just powder the bottom of this cup, and then I'm just gonna give just a bead or a squirt of honey. And this was probably the most annoying part of all this. I need to get an aloe vera plant with bigger leaves, but what you want to do is split open the leaf and just extract or try to get the most aloe you can out of each leaf. So you can see that I'm kind of struggling here with how small these leaves are. It took about 4 leaves to get enough aloe. Like I said before, I'm sure there's an exact measurement, but I would say it's equal parts of all 3 ingredients. And you'll just toss it in your little mixture and then go to town on it, stirring it up and getting it mixed up the best that you can. I found that it doesn't hurt to toss in a little distilled water or rainwater. It'll get it almost like a soup, I guess. Once you get that mixed up, you'll take one of your cuttings and you want to strip, I would say probably 4 to 5 inches from the bottom. You just want to take the bottom leaves off, basically. I've also seen people kind of score or scratch around the bottom of their cutting. I guess it would give it a better chance to help it root. But all I'm going to do now is just kind of get this mixture I've made, homemade rooting hormone all over the bottom of this cutting. I'm not seeing anybody soak them or anything. They just kind of dab the cutting into the hormone and then toss it into your pot. So I wanted to try the homemade rooting hormone versus the store-bought. This is the store-bought. Like I said before, it was only $5 or $6, and cuttings are technically free, so we'll see what happens. I've read that you need to be very careful with this stuff. Obviously, you don't want to get it in your eye or in an open cut or sore. I've seen various different videos of how to apply this. One of them being taking a Q-tip and dabbing it on to the cutting. I'm just going to dip my cutting in water and dip it into the little bottle of rooting hormone. And then I'm just going to stab that into one of my pots of soil. What I'm going for here is I want to see how well the store-bought rooting hormone does versus the homemade, and then I'm going to do a cutting with no rooting hormone, just the peat moss soil fertilizer mix, and see how well that does. I also want to note that these 3 pots have an equal amount of peat moss, an equal amount of soil using the same soil, and an equal amount of that Happy Frog acid loving plants fertilizer. So this would technically be the control. Now I know I didn't use a cutting from the same plant, but I'm just having fun and experimenting here. We'll see what happens. My wife and I have a rain barrel, and any chance we get, we try to only use rainwater on all of our plants, but when we have to, obviously, we'll use the faucet. I can just tell a difference in my plants when we water them with rainwater. It's natural, and rainwater is going to give these guys the best chance to take root, and I'm excited. I want to say thank you guys for watching, and I hope you'll continue to watch and follow along as I learn.